I'm Jason UFC, and today we have a story about UFC President Dana White shares an update on possible Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev fight. It says a weighty announcement soon. Weighty? What the hell does that mean? Am I even pronouncing that correct? Shortly after UFC 73 wrapped up this past weekend inside the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada, UFC President Dana White fielded questions from the media as usual and shed lights on several hot topics. What is this? So many pop-ups. Aside from updating us on the Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler fight, as well as the Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley fight, the outspoken head Dana White gave a very important update regarding a potential match between former UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman and the division's number 3 ranked contender Khamzat Chimaev. I wouldn't call him the boogeyman. I would say the boogeyman is Shakaf Rakhmonov. No one ever says his name, right? That's the boogeyman. It's a fight that Usman wants. That's no secret, is what Dana White said. Usman literally came to the office to lobby for that fight. I told him I love him. Usman is one of the best guys we at the UFC have ever worked with. I love working with Usman. Look at all the things Usman has accomplished. Chimaev and Usman have been setting Twitter. They've just been talking crazy on Twitter, leading fans to believe that a fight had been signed and soon to be delivered. But according to UFC President Dana White, the fight is far from a done deal, hinting that weight is the biggest issue. I don't do catch weights. Don't do it, Dana White said. So you know how Khamzat is. If you talk stuff to Khamzat, he's going to go right at it with you and doesn't care who he fights and all that stuff. I don't know. Obviously, we've been making a lot of announcements lately. We haven't made that announcement yet because we don't have the fight done yet. But we're working on stuff for Khamzat, not for Usman, but for Khamzat. What does that mean? I don't. Khamzat last competed at the catchweight fight versus Kevin Holland because he came in overweight for his fight versus Nate Diaz. Is there anything else we have to get into there? I don't think so. I mean, I don't really know what's going on here. We have not heard almost any news, any fight news from Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev's last fight was last September, I believe 2022. It was a first round finish, so he didn't really take any damage in that fight. But for some unknown reason, we haven't heard any real hardcore fight announcement for Chimaev. I know some hard. I'm an MMA casual, so I can't follow everything. Hardcore MMA fan says Chimaev is going to the middleweight division. Some people think Chimaev is still in the welterweight division. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand why Dana White keeps saying it would be, he doesn't do catchweight fights. Why would Usman and Chimaev fight in a catchweight fight? They would fight in a welterweight fight. It just sounds like to me that the UFC is saying, without saying it, but Chimaev does not seem to be in, and I could be wrong. They can announce Chimaev versus Usman tomorrow, but why not just say that, hey, we could have the fight with Chimaev and Usman in welterweight. He just keeps saying, no, we won't do catchweight fights. And if they fight, it has to be, I guess, in the middleweight division or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Chimaev is in the middleweight division. Maybe, in my opinion, like I said, I'm an MMA casual. I feel like what the UFC is going to do is it's going to be Chimaev versus Israel Adesanya. How about that, right? That seems like, the fight that they're going to make, because who else is Israel Adesanya going to fight at UFC 293, I think it is, in September? I think that fight is that in Australia? Israel Adesanya most likely will be the head on that card. The UFC middleweight number 1 contender fight is happening in July. That's Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis. I really doubt it's only a 3-round fight, but it seems really doubtful unless you get a first round finish easy that the winner of that fight in July will turn around and fight Israel Adesanya in September. But I could be wrong. Maybe that's what they were thinking. I really doubt if it's a 3-round brawl fight that they would even be cleared to fight in September. So I think it's going to be Israel Adesanya versus Khamzat Chimaev for the UFC middleweight championship. And that's why the UFC has not announced anything for Chimaev. And when, Chimaev was linked to Costa. Costa is now booked for a fight. There's no real other contenders in the UFC middleweight division for Israel Adesanya. So I think what's happening is UFC is going to make the fight between Israel Adesanya and Khamzat Chimaev in September. But like I said, I'm an MMA casual, so I can be completely wrong. I can check Twitter right now, and they may have announced a completely different fight 5 hours ago, but who knows? Let me know your opinion of this story. I'm Jason, UFC. Today we had a story about UFC president, put some respect on his name, UFC president Dana White shares an update on a possible Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev fight. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the $1 donation button, and please tune in to the next video on this channel. Thanks a million for watching.